Okay, greetings, greetings. It is October 8th, 2018, and it's a new moon, and it is also my birthday. I'm so excited. For my birthday, my sweetheart got me a gift certificate to Bliss art store, and I got some really cool new gelatos. I mentioned that before. And what I wanted to talk about today, just to let everyone know what project I am currently working on. Spring 2019, I'm slated to have a project wall art exhibit in New Arts program. And it's like a 14 by 10 foot wall, maybe 14 by 18, I'm not sure. It's pretty tall ceilings. And I have the entire wall for 3 months, and it is to be like an evolving art project. So I'm very excited. And for those of you who have followed my channel over the year, you know that I have a strong affinity for sacred geometry. And I wanted to share this book. This book is going to be instrumental in helping me to have a really good, rational foundation as well as spiritual foundation to my evolving art project. And as you can see, the title is Sacred Geometry for Artists, which is myself, Dreamers, which is myself, and Philosophers. And, I'm a little bit of a philosopher. This book actually came out on August 18th, 2018, and it's Secrets of Harmonic Creation by John Oscar Lieben. It is an amazing book that I was gifted with, and let me get some light. It's put out by Inner Truth publisher. Yeah, Inner Traditions. They tend to publish a lot of really deeply metaphysical, spiritual works that are pretty solid. So here are the table of contents: Field of Harmony, the Geometry of Time, let's see, Moon and Earth, the Temple of Water, Musical Vessels, Spiral Octave, Harmonic Structures, the Circle of Resonance, 8, Circle of Resonance, the Musical Universe, the Tree of Time, the Cosmic Flower. Pretty good appendix. Sorry about that. I'm sort of, this was a spur of the moment video. I'm not at home and I do not have any of my accoutrements, such as a tripod. But anyway, this book is really cool for those of you who are interested in really understanding the mathematical foundation of sacred geometry. That's what this book is good for. And I was walking down the street and Spirit says to me, go into the bookstore. There's a book there waiting for you. And I wasn't really interested in spending money or anything like that, but this gift happened to fall into my lap. And I took a look at it, and I like that, as the title says, artist, dreamer, and philosopher. So there's a little bit in here for everyone's point of view, whether it's spiritual, whether it's rational, and spiritual and rational not necessarily mutually exclusive. There's the mathematics, starting with the very basic, the emergence of the Vesica Pisces. There's beautiful illustrations in here. There's the Vesica tone construction. Thank you. Jasmine says happy birthday. Thank you. And this book is really beautiful because it's so foundational. I know that along with my paints that I got the other day, I also got this book, Fabriano Classic Artist Journal. And so I'm going to take this Sacred Geometry book here, my Classic Artist Journal, and for those of you who are artists, crafters, artists, whatever you want to call yourselves, and you know about Fabriano, paper is always luxurious, and this is beautiful paper, and it's white and like a dark ivory. I got that, my compass that I bought at the local, what do you call it, university. I also have stencils. I had this stuff in the past because, you know, I've always loved geometry, but the journal is brand new, and I have my ruler. And all of this goes into my little Dick Blix baggie, which is perfectly sized. Thank you, CB. CB says happy birthday to me. I am like a kid today, CB, because I had a gift certificate to the art store. So anyway, my exhibit is April 3rd, 2019. And so I'm going to have, you know, the rest of this fall, winter. I really want to journey through the very foundation of sacred geometry and really study this and begin to physically, you know, manifest it, you know, on the paper and meditate on it and bring it together and see how, say, when January 1st comes about, how I'm going to, you know, bring it to fruition. And I will be video recording my exhibit, like it's going to be an art wall project, and I was asked if I was going to, I guess, post or anything. So it is a growing project, and at the end of the 3 months is when the actual reception is. And the reception will be to, I guess, discuss the progression of the project. And James Carroll, who is a retired art university professor, and he runs the New Art program, and I've participated in many of his small work salon, invitational small work salon. So he had approached me, I think it was about a year and a half ago, little over 18 months, not quite 2 years, had asked me about, you know, if I wanted to do an exhibit, and I was so flattered and touched, and James is one of my favorite people, and I was like, sure. So the date was pushed forward a couple of times, and I was fine because I was I've done exhibits, but with other people. I've actually curated exhibits, and I've never actually had a solo one. And even though it's just a wall, it's a pretty big wall. It's 14 feet by, I'm not sure what the other dimension, but it's a pretty sizable wall. And I want to make it, you know, art is also a part of my spiritual journey and my devotion and my spiritual practice. So I wanted to make it meaningful, and which is why I chose sacred geometry. And then once I chose it, it's like, okay, I really need to get down to the nitty-gritty and really do some deep research on this. You know, I wanted it to be both spiritual, but also appeal to those who are, you know, may not necessarily see themselves as spiritual, but very rational, logical thinkers. And this book dropped into my lap, and it fits everything. So if you're interested in sacred geometry and the mathematics and really getting down to the mathematical nitty-gritty, also, you know, the historicity, the archaeology, all of that, this book is phenomenal, and I can't wait. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. You know, my second born just started grad school this year at University of Chicago in quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and he's going to be so proud of me when I talk to him about, I mean, I know it's not the same thing, but, you know, that'll be something that he can enlighten me on. one thing about my son Jordan, you can check in my video archives. You'll see that I actually had interviewed him after he graduated, because he had did research. He was an intern at LIGO Voyager, and for those of you who follow physics, science, LIGO Voyager, there's one at Caltech and there's one at MIT, and he was on the research team summer 2017 for the group that actually were able to detect the gravitational waves. So, you know, that was big in science, either 2016 or 15, I'm not sure which one, December or January, one of those years. And he was on the team to help do research to create the next generational gravitational wave detector. So this is, you know, if you can see, this book is there's a lot of technical stuff in here. This is all about building of the Temple of Water. So it's merging the technical, the spiritual, the scientifical all together. So I will, let's see. It's all that shape, starting with the square and the circle. Earth and spirit. Matthias, welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Matthias gave me a blessing. Thank you. The Fibonacci sequence. So this book it speaks to the artist, the dreamer, the philosopher. So there you go. Look at that. So just wanted to share this and let you know what I was doing. You see some sea stars, starfish, sorry. Those, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like a sand dollar. I'm not really sure. Oh, and today, I guess it's been many moons since I left school, it finally dawned in my mind the difference between a protractor and a compass. As I kept thinking, why do I need another compass when I already have one? But it's not a compass, it's a protractor. Anyway, okay, I gotta get going. This is the book. Check it out. Sacred Geometry for Artists, Dreamers, and Philosophers. There you go. Secrets of Harmonic Creation. And I will be taking photographs and creating a video for when I actually install the art exhibit. That'll be in spring. However, throughout the process, I plan to share my notes. Oh, and one last thing. Meandering Mystics. Yes, check out Meandering Mystics YouTube channel. He's done some sacred geometry. Oh, last but not least, I wanted to pull a card. I didn't look at it before, but I shuffled the deck one or two times and cut it a couple of times. And strength. Remember, you know, if you look at this card, it's a lot of blues, a lot of deep and dark blues, and then there's that green. And blue is not really a sad color to me, but blue reminds me of water, which reminds me of emotions, which reminds me of feelings. And this does, in this moment right now, seem a little dark and foreboding. And so when you feel in that space and you're in that place of feeling like there's a dark cloud over you and you feel this foreboding spirit, I'm going to encourage you to check in with your green. What is green? I had a call come through. So I was saying, check in with this green. Represents to me the heart chakra, your heart energy. So when you're feeling dark and foreboding, go into your heart. Check in with your heart. Does it take you to your inner child? Does it take you to a place of joy? Check in with your heart. Bring joy out. Look to do something or be reminded of something that brings you joy. Because when you're in that state of joy, and you can feel some happiness and some contentment and some joy, you're able to access your strength. So just remember that. Remember that. When those dark shadows start coming over, do your best to go into your heart. Give someone a hug that you know makes you feel really good. Say hi to a little child. Touch the toes of a baby. That will help you to live in your heart more, to bring your heart forth. And when you're living through your heart and you're really truly being in your heart in a space of love, strength will come easier. Much love. Thank you for joining me on my birthday post. And thank you for sharing your energy with me, with all of us. Much love. And I wish you peace and great bliss.